Now, last week's talk was pretty in-depth, scientific, masculine, sort of data. And the reason I talked about all that sort of stuff, especially the quantum physics, is because I want to be aware that some people, masculine-minded people, all men often need a scientific verification to give themselves permission to let go. So we went right into the sort of quantum physics to kind of provide some almost more systemized proofs into how we have permission to let go. And we went right into the way information can travel forwards and backwards in time, the way information can travel through space instantly, and the way we can help ourselves in the past to help ourselves in the present. And so it was pretty interesting. And one of the things we talked about last week was retro-causality. And this is essentially how information can travel from the future to the past. So I'm going to give you a really fun example that happened to me a couple of days ago. I'm at work, and it's like 7:30 in the morning, and I'm sitting at the cafe, and I had a thought. I thought, I want to listen to this band I like from the United States called Emancipator. And I thought, cool, I'm going to go listen to them. And then I had a little to-do list in my mind. I was like, I'm going to sweep over there, I'm going to pick up some of that rubbish, saw a strawberry on the ground, I'm going to pick that up. But first on my to-do list I was going to put Emancipator on. So I went and put it on, cool, sounding good. And then I went to the next task, which was picking up some trash off the floor. And I leaned over, there's a bit of trash on the floor, down the floor like that. And this is the same bit of trash, I kept it. And I went and picked it up, and it said Emancipator on it.
No.
Yeah, for real, I'm not making this up. Now, it gave me kind of goosebumps and all that sort of thing, and I was like, okay, cool. And then I realized that because we've been talking about this, how basically something can travel back in time. And in this sense, this something is an idea. Okay? So, me picking up, I was going to pick up a paper at some point. I'm quite obsessive compulsive when it comes to rubbish. And I was going to pick it up at some point. So it's there on the ground. So let's just say I hadn't put the music on. And I pick it up and I'm like, oh, Emancipator, cool. Random. I'll put it on or whatever. So obviously maybe a customer the day before had gone, what's this music? And I wasn't there the day before, so I don't know what happened. But someone had written it down for maybe someone, who knows, and given it to them and they'd left it there and fallen on the floor. So this shows how the idea of the significance of a bit of data then traveled backwards in times to myself. So me knowing something in the future gave me the premonition in the past to go, oh, Emancipator. These things pop into our consciousness. So I'm not fucking around with you. That happened. So pass it around. No. So it's like that, and this is normal human ability. This is really normal stuff. Because I can run around with that, oh, this is the weirdest thing happened. It's actually not weird, it's actually really normal. And the more you're like, yep, cool, thanks universe, thanks whatever, thank yourself, the more these sorts of things are going to start happening to you, and it becomes really normal. And a lot of this, and this is why I call it non-local. Non-local means time and space don't inhibit the transaction. Okay, so the information just came back in time. So this sort of thing's going to, the more you interact with this information, and it was just interesting because that's what we talked about last week. And there's a good little example of how it can happen. And that can be really, this could be a life or death thing. You could get a premonition not to get in the car, and then, something could happen to your car. Maybe one of the tires is about to fall off. Who knows? And you just go, oh, I'm not going to get in my car. And then you realize there's something super wrong with it. However, this was just to put some music on.
How do you become emancipated?
Yeah, it means something, doesn't it? Yeah. One of the things we'll talk about a lot next week is the non-local awareness in the womb, and how essentially women have the capacity to be completely non-locally aware psychic warrior women, where you're constantly through your extra third eye of the womb completely aware of threats to your environment through the way we've evolved with looking after children, everything like that. So you're completely aware of danger way before it happens. You're like, oh, this is dodgy. You get a bad vibe or a good vibe or anything like that. And this is a very, very amazing psychic faculty which has been systematically shut down through systematic misogyny and monotheistic religions in the Western world. So we're going to talk about that, because that's a real crazy, sad situation that we're all faced with, and it's all healable. The human capacity for healing is infinite. So if I say anything really bleak, It's all good. We can heal anything. So I haven't really talked about my mission in any of these talks, and I'm just going to briefly go over this. I had this idea a few years ago that when someone's really hurting, when you're in your pain story, and you're in this kind of zone, let's say you're depressed and you're at home, you're staying in your room, and you're in this world of self-loathing. When you're in a world of self-loathing, you're really self-centered. You're not thinking about picking up trash project down the beach with your friends. You're not thinking about recycling. You're not thinking about environmental issues. You're not thinking about political issues. You're completely hyper-focused on your own pain story and self-victimization. So I was thinking, like, a lot of people aren't really contributing to their community and to the planet because they're so self-absorbed in what they're hurting about, the thing they can't let go of, whatever their issues are. And that's kind of my mission, essentially, is to share information and help people as much as I can, so that we can come into a place of self-love, acceptance, and self-forgiveness. And once we're here, we're in this creative space then, this more open, empty space to contribute and help other people. You're not going to be going out trying to help everyone if you're a total self-destructive mess. And that's the amazing thing. So the more you let go of these issues, the more you're going to be like, oh wow, I've got extra time or energy to want to share and help with other people. So that's my mission statement, really, is to actually be looking at the environmental issues on the planet, healing the planet, and understanding that we're all a part of the planet. It's not an environment out there and we're people. We're all a part of the environment. It's that whole ecology idea. It's all the same thing. But to really go out there and contribute to helping other people, you need to come from an abundant space of dealing with your own shit. And then you can do that. So tonight we're going to talk about a lot of I'm going to say this, it's going to be like more of a feminine orientated approach to information. So one of the things I talk about is, if you're arguing with your partner, say you have a guy and a girl and they're arguing, and often because of the society we're in, men will try and be explaining something that he understands to his feminine partner, and she just won't get it. He's trying to explain, it's very masculine, analytical stuff. And then on the other hand, she might be trying to share with him something that she feels, something that she's experiencing in her body, like a feeling, and it can be the same concept. So she might be feeling the concept, and he might be understanding the concept. So in this way, the feminine approach to sharing is very different to the masculine approach. And this can be, you can have masculine-orientated women and feminine-orientated men. It's more this approach to information. So essentially, a lot of the information we're talking about tonight isn't so much scientifically verifiable, because it was just given to someone more like through what we call like a spiritual confirmation, as opposed to a scientific confirmation. There's things that are spiritually verified. Like when you just have an idea and you're like, oh yeah, that's right. Something comes through. You get an idea, or you're in an altered state of consciousness, or you're dreaming, daydreaming, and you're like, oh yeah, that's totally it. That's it. That's true. And you didn't read it in a book, you didn't learn it in class, you didn't learn it on YouTube. It just came to you. It was almost like given to you. So this is what we call spiritual verification. And this is the root basis of mysticism. In the first workshop, we talked about mysticism a little bit, and a beautiful definition of mysticism is a mystic is someone who is sensuously aware of their inseparability with the rest of the universe. So the reason I say sensuously, that means through all of your senses, you can feel that you're connected to everything. And in this sense as well, through all your senses, you can realize that you're connected to all information, all human learning, through time. Here, there, everywhere, every when as well. So then you get these people in history who have just got all this information. No one taught them. Alright, and we've got so many examples of this, and often we kind of bypass thinking about how do they know that? These people they open themselves up enough and they become empty enough, and they somehow through chance or genetics or astrology or through dietary processes or making themselves emotionally empty enough, that they had come into alignment with the harmonic resonance of collective human consciousness or the universe, and this information just starts flowing through them. And through them in the sense that a lot of these mystics will pass this information on.